The following presentation was recorded live for the International Association of Square Dance Callers 19th Annual Convention. We take you live to Virginia Beach, Virginia, where our session is just getting underway.
We will get started on time, just from the standpoint that I think that all the important people show up on time. I'm so glad to see such a large turnout. Whenever you do one of these things that is new, you kind of wonder who's going to show up. I'd like to take just a couple minutes to have each of us introduce ourselves so that you know who you are. I know many of you don't know me. My name is Cal Campbell. I haven't been around CALLERLAB for about 8 years. The reason I think they had me come was the fact that I'm the director for a leadership training institute that teaches how to do the mechanics of a community dance program underneath the auspices of the Lloyd Shaw Foundation. That's my claim to fame, whatever that means. So with that, I'll pass it on to the other, but this will at least give you a little bit of a background on me. Okay?
Well, I'm Jack Murtha, and I've been involved for a long time in limited basic programs, not necessarily the community dance program, but many applications for square dance programs that use few calls or different varieties between our school programs and community programs. So I guess that's where I'm involved here. I have a great interest in these limited basic programs. I think they're the heart of our whole program, and we need more of them.
My name is Freddie Fuddpucker. Oh, that's on tape, isn't it? That's a bad start. I'm Bob Howell. I'm from Euclid, Ohio, and have been interested in this program since, I guess, the first night I ever called a dance, because I'm doing exactly now, 43 years later, what I did the very first night that I started calling. And haven't changed it a great deal since, and still enjoying a good bit of success.
Okay, the person who was supposed to be here to moderate, and I'm sorry isn't here because he had a great deal to do with the formation of this program and actually drove the mechanism to get it started and get it through CALLERLAB, is a gentleman by the name of Ken Kernan. Ken resides in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and real sorry he couldn't be here, but because you're going to miss a tremendous resource in this area. We're going to split the talk up into about 3 different sections because basically when they sent the message they wanted to talk about a community dance program, each of us got a little bit different message. I looked at it from the aspect that we wanted to talk to you about how to sell the program to the public. Some of the other of us that were up here talking when we were discussing this said, well, maybe we need to sell the program to you. And so you're going to see a little bit different aspects. I'm going to be talking about marketing. Bob, who's this guy over here, is going to show you some dances and how easily you can get on the floor and do it. Jack is going to then start talking about some concepts, basic concepts of how you do it. There will be overlap. We're going to try and take about 20 minutes apiece out of the hour and a half so that we have lots of times for questions to come up. Keep in mind that you're dealing with 3 very much individualistic looks at this sort of a thing, and just because we say it doesn't make it right. So we may disagree among ourselves. I've known both of these guys for 30-plus years at this point in time, and I can assure you we don't agree on everything. Is that fair? Okay, with the idea of talking about a community dance program, number 1, do you know what we're speaking of? Do any of you have the little folder that details the CALLERLAB community dance program and the definition thereof? Good. Does anyone need one? Great. Bob's going to go up and run them down. This is basically a program built around a limited set of square dance basics as being a starting point, as well as the concept that this would be a destination program. And I think one of the key elements that we need to keep in mind as we deal with ideas around a community dance program, this is not a way to siphon people into square dancing. This has got to be a destination program that's going to stand on its own, by itself. as a destination for people to go to, or it will not succeed. Now, spinning off from that as being an idea, as with any program that is a destination program, no matter what it is, including Western swing, square dancing, round dancing, Scottish dancing, folk dancing, there are people that come into these programs that say, I would like to try something else. And I think that if we have a successful community dance program going out there that can be a destination for a large number of people, there undoubtedly are going to be a portion of those people that are going to want to become recreational square dancers. Okay, with this idea, we're dealing with a different market. Now, we all know what is happening to square dancing. We're becoming a very specialized market. We're specialized in the sense that people either do not have the time or the desire to want to learn how to square dance other than for a small, maybe 1 or 2% of the population. Fine. And the community dance program is aimed at a much broader band of people. How? A limited set of basics, a limited set of knowledge that you're going to be giving these people, as well as a limited set of lessons that they'll have to have in order to get this sort of knowledge. And so we've got a much broader band that we're going to be able to look at. All right, how do you market this sort of thing? All right, we tend to think of square dancing as starting in the fall primarily. Some of them lessons start after the first of the year. But basically 1 or 2 times a year, because we're dealing with a long-term set of lessons in order to be able to teach these people. Community dance program, 6 weeks, gang. You can start one every 6 weeks. Every month and a half, you can have another set of lessons going. And so you have a year-round marketing system that you're going to be able to do. Okay? Part of the problem with reaching this market is the fact that we've always depended primarily on word of mouth. We're going to have to start taking a look at some other avenues for being able to get hold of these people. And some of them are going to cost us money, or going to cost the club or the organization money in order to be able to get it. There's been a couple experiments in which some square dancers up in Billings, for instance, put a large number of dollars into square dance advertising and paid off. And so if we use the common media means of advertising, there's been at least one area where they put the large number of dollars in and it's paid back. This is essentially going to mean that probably what we're going to charge per night for community dance program is going to have to provide enough that you can set aside part of this money for advertising. Okay, we have all the things that we've accessed before from the standpoint of word of mouth, pass the flyers out at the local shopping mall and these sort of things, but I think we're going to have to start looking at some new means in order to be able to get our message to the people. It's going to be easier. From the standpoint, instead of having one focus one time a year, we'll be able to distribute this out throughout the entire year. Okay, when we get into the business of how do we teach the basics, and I'm following down through a printout, so if some of these ideas are something that you would like to know a little bit more about, grab the printout and we'll talk about them a little bit. But, you know, we traditionally think of once a week for lessons, and that's okay. Do we need more books? How many more books do we need? Hold up your hands so they can get a count. Yeah, we're filling up this room. I think this is marvelous. Yeah, you may.
He said he's selling everybody else for $3 a piece. They said, yeah, but they didn't come to our session. Yes, would you go back up?
Yeah.
Would you mind? Right up the stairs in the red room.
Okay.
Yeah, ask him for another dozen.
Oh, get more than that.
No, I'm in trouble already.
Yeah, you're in trouble already. Okay.
Send her back again.
The rest of you have to go up and spend $3 a piece for them. Think about the idea of a week of lessons. 6 nights, 6 consecutive nights coming out of a program. You know, a lot of people that can't even think about trying to commit for 6 weeks ahead, because if we look at our modern society, a lot of them won't commit for 2. will very easily set aside a week of consecutive nights to learn how to do it. Or 3 nights one week, 3 nights the next week. It's only a 2-week commitment. All right? Lessons connection with a vacation. A lot of people do not have the time to be able to go and take a set of lessons or set aside a set of evenings. We'll go to some sort of a vacation destination and partake for a couple hours of that day in a set of lessons. Making sense? All right? We always have access, and some of you haven't tapped this. This is a good access to the community education programs within any community. They are always looking for new programs. The community colleges are looking for new programs. I've done this part of it for years and years and years. Go to the community program and say, fine, can I have 4 weeks? Or can I have 6 weeks? And then the people come in, they advertise for you, they get the information back to you, and then you go in and you teach those 4 weeks. Now, out of this 4 weeks, you got 2 choices. They can either go their own way and do their own thing, or hopefully at this point in time you will have a program that they can go and dance on a regular basis. All right, what's a regular basis? Another concept that we may have to reorganize is a community dance program. You ought to be able to give people 6 weeks of lessons, and this gets into Cal's opinion. So the other 2 of these guys may say, you're full of baloney, Cal. But to me, after 6 weeks of lessons, I want to try and design a program that 85% of the people can come into and dance any night with the knowledge that they gain in that 6-week set of programs. All right? And then the rest of it is going to be taught. What's this going to mean we're going to have to do? We expect square dancers to have a set of terms, to be able to walk in for a night, and to be able to respond on command off their memory, right? This is not going to be how we're going to need to do the community dance program. We're going to be working with a lot of quick walkthroughs. Okay? We're going to be working with things that we expect to teach one night, and there will be no-brainers, and they'll never have to worry about memorizing what they did. It's one night in entertainment. We're an entertainment sort of media. And so we're going to be teaching things quickly. This means that you're going to have to be succinct in your teaching. You know, one of the things that Julie and I occasionally do is we go to some folk dance sessions once in a while, just to keep our hand in folk dancing. And we have people that will take 30 minutes to teach one dance. You can't do that. You're going to have to be 3 to 5 minutes at the outside maximum. And so you're going to have to pick your material. Okay, where do we get variety then in a program like this? It can't be all square dancing. It's going to be a mixture of formations. And I think some of these gentlemen may show you some of this. If they don't, I'll jump back in at the end and kick in a bunch more ideas. It's going to be a tremendous variety of music. And one of the neat things about the community dance program concept is where within square dancing we're relatively limited in the type of music we can use in the community dance program. It is a totally open board. We can use a wide variety of tunes and formations and dances and dance types. Okay? Makes sense? What's this going to require in a leader? Okay, some of you that tackle this sort of thing are going to end up saying, I need more education. And this is one reason why we designed the Leadership Training Institute, so you've got a place to come and get education. And probably more critical than that, in my opinion, you've got a place to come and exchange ideas, where we can sit down and we can expand the repertoire, or whatever that word is, to the place of where you have a wider and wider range of dances that you can do. It's not hard, but it's something that will be new to part of you. The difficulty of the dances is always going to have to be kept at a rather easy level. The sort of things and the sort of information that you could give them in 6 weeks, and then from there on, the difficulty is not going to rise any substantial amount. This means that the number of dances you need to have in order to be able to present variety is going to have to be rather broad in context. It's not hard, it's not difficult material to teach, but it's going to have to be broad. You're not only going to need to be able to call, in my opinion, but you're also going to need to be able to know how to cue so that you can cue round dance mixers. You're going to need to know how to prompt so that you can take advantage of the dances that require prompting. And this is a little bit different technique. Now, I will say this. Any caller, square dance, recreational caller, who can call can learn how to prompt and how to cue. Now, some of you may not think that's true, but any recreational square dance caller can learn how to do this. It's just a matter of getting in an environment where you've got coaching and practicing just like most of you learned how to call. And you can also do the little tricks from the standpoint. You can take the record, flip it over, and, play monkey see and monkey doing. Didn't a lot of us do this when we first learned how to call? We flipped the record over to the other side, and we tried to copy what was going on there. Frequency of attendance. We think of people coming once a week, and if we don't get 80% of them once a week, they fall out, they fall behind, and they can't attend anymore. In a community dance program, you're going to have to plan for individuals who can come once a week, once a month, every 2 months, every 4 months, maybe twice a year, and be able to come up with stuff to where they can come in and dance a reasonable part of that program. They'll be able to go off on a vacation and leave for 2 years, have a kid, have a bypass on the heart, all the other things that happen to us as we age, and be able to come back in without having to go through 6 weeks of lessons and step back into a program. That's pretty ambitious, but I really think it's possible to do. I mean, I don't think this is an impossible situation at all. It's going to require good, solid leadership on our part. In other words, what we're going to have to do is to learn things about teaching and about calling and about dealing with people that presently we don't have to worry about at the average recreational level square dance. It's the sort of things that we do within one-night stands. But it's a refinement of that, refinement by quite a bit. What are the payoffs? Okay, first off, there is a huge market out there. An enormous market. We're tapping 1% to 2%. And you take any other dance form, and this includes the swing nightclubs where they have Western dance, are only getting 1% to 2% of the market that's there. Take everybody out, we probably still got 90% of the people that aren't dancing something. And so I think the market is enormous. When I first learned how to square dance, it was 10 lessons. It was no sweat to fill a hall. Okay? It was no problem to pack him in as tight as you could pack him in any hall, any night. We're talking about 6, folks. 6 lessons. Okay, right now the rage is nightclub Western swing. And this is the thing. I have people come around and say, well, how do we compete with this? You don't. There are lots of people out there who will go to a Western swing club that will also try out community dance program. There's a lot of people out there who don't like the volume of sound. This is my problem. Don't like the smoke and don't like the booze. They are a ready market sitting out there waiting to go. Okay, there's good money in it. To pay for equipment and pay for records and maybe put a few dollars in your pocket. And I hate to be this way, but we need to have some way of having return, and there's good money in it. You ask anybody who does a lot of one-night stands, who is honest with you, sometimes we hate to admit this, you make better money at doing this than you do at calling recreational square dances. And I can see a bunch of heads going, So there's good money in it. Most of us are in the business because we like to have people have fun. One of the things that has really made me want to support this program is that I want to try and teach people to dance and come back 20 years later and they're still dancing. This is a dance form that we can put people into that they can dance for a lifetime. And we were upstairs talking with Jack's group about hearing problems this morning. And I'm very much in the age of where I'm getting hard of hearing. I have 2 problems with hearing. Okay, at a point in time, I'm going to have to quit calling and I'm going to have to quit dancing to the modern stuff. He's provided one answer, and that's sound enhancement. But the community dance program provides an environment where we can put people into that they can learn as children, which Jack is very much involved in, and dance until they can no longer walk. And in that case, they don't even have to quit dancing there. You ought to see some of the things we can do now with people in wheelchairs. Finally, no one loses. Think about this. No one loses. Because the people that we're going to market to probably would not be willing to take the time and the effort to become recreational square dancers off of you or I or somebody else patting them on the back and saying, here, come here. And they might, a percentage of them might be willing to come in to recreational square dancing, maybe go on to become community dance program, be willing to go on to become recreational square dancers, and maybe at some point this is going to be the third destination. They'll come back to a community dance program if we do it right. Okay? No one loses. I don't see any possible way that recreational square dancing can lose out of this. It's going to take a lot of different thought. It's going to take a different mindset than we have right now. And with that, I'm going to shut up for a while and turn it over to a couple of my colleagues. Have I gone my 20 minutes better? They were going to ram me in the ribs if I went over 20. Okay, fine. Bob, do you want to go next? Let Jack go next. Okay.
Switch. Test one. All right. This is a fascinating area, and there's a lot of dimensions to the community dance program in terms of how you approach it. And the topic here was, how do we sell that? Cal mentions the number of people we have in the market he has, but he's a little off on his numbers, at least by my figures. I can't find a community any place in the United States yet, outside of a couple in Montana, that can demonstrate to me they have more than 1/4 of 1% of their community population in the square dance program, and most of them are 1/16 to 1/8. They never are listed. Square dancing's not listed on the national polls of recreation because you have to have 1% of the people in your activity or they don't list you, and we don't make it. So for the national folk dance of the United States, we have precious few people of the total number available who are part of our activity. And it gives all of us a big challenge who are interested and feel more people should be participating to think of how do we get more people in. The community dance program, and here Bob and Cal can correct me if I am not correct, but talking about concepts, community dance program really grew out of two programs that were both fantastically successful in their time and done by masters who are exemplars for the kind of person who can make this work. The first was Bob Dawson's in Florida. And Bob Dawson had a program where he called every night of the week for a group. And one of those groups was limited to a program he could put together in 6 weeks. And it stayed there for all that time. Joe Lewis, who was a famous caller, a lot of us will recognize, came through our area at one time, and he said, I was back in Florida with Bob's program, and I called a mainstream dance on one night, and we had 20 squares. And the next night I called for his 6-week basic program, and we had 80 squares. The other person that has done marvelous things in this is Jerry Helt. Now, I haven't talked to Jerry recently, so I'm not sure what the status of his program is now, but before the community dance program was written, Jerry was running something like 3 programs during the daytime, each with 20 to 25 squares, in a special program he wrote that was, again, about a 6-week teach. Now, there's 2 things that are very much involved in that. Jim Hilton had a similar program in California that make the community dance program in that way very different. The major people involved were retired people, older people, in both those programs. And as a result, both Bob Dawson, Jerry Helt, and now the community dance program wrote out some calls they didn't want in there because they felt they were a disadvantage with the citizens they were working with. California twirl, star through are examples. Dive through is another. So those were in the progression, but they took them off the program. They don't use them. And the reason is because the clientele they were working with, those were not calls that were comfortable for a lot of them. The other is that in Jerry's 3 programs, over 70% of his attendance is women. So that you're dealing with an age where a lot of ladies want to dance and don't have partners, and this has opened an opportunity for a big, very successful program that is mainly attended by squares of women. From that kind of thing, people got the message that there was a great number of people out there would love to dance, just a few calls, and they'll come often and they have a great time and they're fun to call to. And the community dance program, with a great influence by the Lloyd Shaw Foundation, because Ken and Cal and many of the people who really wrote the book on this have reflected the basic idea of the Lloyd Shaw Foundation that dancing shouldn't be just one dimension, but should cover a full range of many dimensions to get variety instead of adding more calls. So you're likely to dance a quadrille or a contra or a square dance or an old circle mixer or any one of a variety of different dance forms. Instead of learning more calls, you learn more ways to use the calls you know and have a good time with them. Now, how do you sell this in a community that doesn't have one? I think that's the major question before this panel. And I can't tell you that I have solved it or found the answer. I've for many years run limited basic programs. But my philosophy for a limited basic program is not the same as the one I've just reflected. One major difference between me and my programs and this program is this program explicitly is designed and states this is not a program from which you progress into square dancing and other programs. This is an independent entity, and it's intended to be a program where people will come, enjoy it, and stay in it. We're not trying to get them to the point where we can then have them join a new beginner's class or something. And my program concept, and particularly where I'm doing an awful lot of work with schools, is just the opposite. I want my program to be very compatible with the idea that people can move from it into the regular square dance program. They don't have to. They can stay forever in this. But that's one of the problems I run into, because I get a good program going of 6 weeks or 5 weeks or 4 weeks, something like that, get a big attendance and really having a great time. And the next year when I start a new beginner's class, they all quit and come over and join my beginner's class. And I've got a great beginner's class, but I have to start my whole limited basic dance program all over again from scratch with nobody. And I have had that happen to me now 2 or 3 times, which I don't mind, because I want a full range of program, and I want people to be able to flow from one part to the next. My present limited basic program is now populated in a good measure by square dancers who used to dance with me 30 years ago. And they want nothing to do with today's modern square dance. They don't like it, and they don't want anything to do with it. They've come and taken a look at it. But they like getting together, and they like having some easy square dance. So now we have a special program, and I'd forgotten what good dancers those people were. Smooth, they do everything by the definition. They don't have to remember very many calls, because they're very satisfied if we just do a few calls and keep them interesting. And so here, these are people who've been square dancers for many, many, many years, quit, and are doing other things now, but enjoy a chance to come back once a week and see their friends and dance with me. And whenever they feel like it, they take off for 3 months and go to Arizona to the resorts or something, and they come back and we're still there, and they come in when they can, and when they can't, well, they go do something else. We've got one good-sized square full of them that have a bridge party every once a month on our dance night, so I know they're never going to be there with us on that night, but they'll be there all the rest of them. How do you sell a program like this to that kind of a diverse community? And I don't really know the answer. I would say that a couple things seem evident to me. One, you're better off if you can find a group of people who need and would be interested in this kind of program, and then go get them involved in such a program. I call for a mental health group once a month. I call for senior citizens in our nutrition centers. If I could get them interested enough to get enough people so that it would be a thing to do, I know I could get a program like this going there and keep it there. But right now, why, one time we'll have one square, and the next time it's hard to talk anybody into getting up and dancing, and it's too uncertain. But we've got in our community probably 15 senior citizen community programs going on, built around luncheons and things like that. If they would ever organize well enough to all come together in one place for me, instead of asking me to go to each one of them for a square each, why, I'd be willing then to put more time into it and say, sure, let's set this up once every so often, and I'll come and you come, and we'll just have a program and go from there. I think that's one way. If you can find a group that already has common interests and you can pull them together in large enough numbers and then go, you've got a program that'll stay like this. If you're going to advertise in the newspaper and just bring in anybody who wants to learn to square dance or wants to learn some of this, then I think you're going to have to expect that you're going to get a mixture of people, some of whom will stay with you, but many of whom, if you do a good job, are going to leave you and go into the regular square dance programs. And you're going to have a lot of diverse interests to try and serve. Now, I want to take a little of my time, and I'll be glad to answer questions later on, a little of my time to show you some things that I've learned that help make it very easy to work with a lot of diverse people like I have to work with. My program, I call as many as 3 and 4 times a day, almost every day of the week, during this part of the year especially. And I may start the morning with 4 kindergarten classes at a multipurpose room and head over at the mental health facility for the noon program, and then head into a high school for PE classes all afternoon, and then I have my square dance club at night. And so every day it's fascinating, and I never know exactly what I'm going to expect to run into in most of these places. So I've become kind of flexible in a lot of things I do. And it might help some of you that are interested in working with people like this, or starting with people like this, or just even doing one-night stands. I need to get all of you to join me and participate. So I'm going to introduce you to a couple of concepts. One I call 3-in-1 dances. If you could set that up for the JT mixer in the center one there. I've taken a lot of dances, some I wrote and some of them are ones that all you know, but I've changed them and made them into what I call 3-in-1 dances, and that basically means I can do this same dance 3 different ways, and so I get a lot of use of it. I'm going to show you how I use this one. Everybody just stand up where you are, and you can all join in. We're all going to dance together. Now, if you can't see me, kind of jiggle around, because you'll have to see me to follow the leader to get this started. And if you are too close to that wall, move this way a little, because we're going to be doing some sliding going that direction and back. All right, here we go. Now, this is going to be kind of a visual thing, and so hang on just a minute before you start. We're starting on the second band, and this is called the JT Mixer. So I'll put the mic down. You can just follow me. We can do this by sight.
All right, I'm going to tell you what you're doing. Hands, clap, 1, 2.
he's doing his knees, hands over under. Here we go. Slide forward to the right and back. Yes. That's it.
Now, later on in the dance evening, I'll just ask everybody to face a partner. So even though it's a little crowded, we're not going to do this very long. I just want you to get the idea. Face a partner. Doesn't matter if it's a man or a lady. Just somebody close by. Now, at this stage of the game, I don't care whether everybody's facing a partner. Can be 2 men, 2 girls. I don't care. What we're going to do is the same hand clapping thing, and then we're going to slide 4, and I don't care who is the leader. Both of you slide the same way, and the other rule is don't bump into anybody else.
1, 2.
All right, here we go. Same dance.
Jack.
Oh, wait a minute. There is one change. At the end, we're going to do a do-sa-do instead of a second slide, too. All right? Do-sa-do your partner. I'll go all the way around.
Okay.
Do-sa-do your partner all the way around.
Jack.
None of this arm around stuff.
Let me trade mics with you. We're overpowering the people next door, and I can't control your volume on that one.
Okay, here we go. Everybody ready for the hand claps, and you can decide which way to go. Just both go the same way. Second man. Oh, and instead of snapping your fingers, clap hands with your partner. Both hands. Ready? Hands go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clap your partner's hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Clap hands. And 1. Clap hands. 1, 2. Now you're both going to slide 4. Go 1, 2, 3. Come back. 1, 2. 2 times each way. Come back. Do-sa-do. All right. You guys are fabulous. Sit down. Now, if I have a situation where I have men and ladies and partners, I can immediately go to partners with guys and gals. If not, we'll do that. But then the third way, of course, to use the same dance is then later on in the evening, I get them into a circle with the guys and gals together, put the man in front of the lady, and we do the same dance, but this time as a circle mixer. After the do-sa-do, everybody moves to the right, and they get a new partner. Now, I have a whole lot of dances that I call 3-in-1 dances that I can use like this. And I don't really have to teach them at all. I just get on the floor, put the music on, say, follow me. And so we can start the whole crew going. They turn and get a partner, and then we go from there. If I can mix partners, then I'll go into squares later. If not, well, I'll find other ways to get men and ladies together. So when I'm ready to go into a square, I can. One other thing that I run into every once in a while, and my time is getting close to up here, so I just better say this, and then if we want to talk more about it later, we can. I run into all kinds of problems where I don't have men and ladies in even numbers. I have 2 ladies for every man or 2 men for every lady. I have situations where I have 5 couples or 6 couples and not enough to form another square. So I've developed a whole lot of ways that I can put 5 couples in a square or 6 couples in a square. I can dance 2 ladies and 1 man or 1 man and 2 ladies. I can do some things that let me use my dances and involve everybody that's there that I can talk into getting up and dancing with me. So when you're talking about the community dance or limited dance programs, if you can get people to come and you can get them on the floor, there are a lot of things you can do with the knowledge you have and the dances you have by just making minor adjustments that can help get everybody moving, everybody dancing, and everybody having a good time. I think my time's about up, but we'll let Bob go ahead and go into more detail with that. I do have my Diamond program, which was a program for schools, is now something that is available and being used in a neat way by people who don't have live callers to help them learn something about square dancing. And we could talk more about that a little later, and if you're interested in it.
Good. Am I alive? Okay, I'm on. Thank you. Yes, you can tell. You can tell we're coming from three different directions, but we're all trying to sell community dance program. In fact, folks, you've already gotten something for your money. You got a $3 booklet. Whether you get anything else out of here this afternoon or not, well, you've been given something. The program itself, this is not a program, and Jack has said this, but I'm going to reiterate again, not a program to get people into full-time square dancing. It was not set up that way. It was never intended to be that way. With each person that I talk to at CALLERLAB is, wow, what a way to get them onto a basic program. And it's not. It's an eclectic program. It's an ongoing thing that is never ending. I guess I promote most of it at one-night stands. I get a one-night stand. I'll say, well, you like this? Well, good. Next quarter, come out and join us at the Mayfield Heights or the Mayfield City School System. They have an adult education program. These are the flyers. This was the winter flyer. There are, well, in the fall I can usually get in about 10 sessions. The winter one, being a Monday night program every week, I have problems because I hit Martin Luther King Day, I hit President's Day, all those Mondays that come along kind of knock me into a cocked hat. I'm going home and start in April, and I'll get banged right out of Memorial Day, and so by the 8th of June I probably will get 8 sessions in the spring. Jack talked about, or Cal talked about money. Yes, I'd like to just read you from the booklet here, and I've got a few of them here you can take home with you if you'd like. It's an adult education program within a community. It's on the east side of Cleveland. It's out in Mayfield Heights. It says square dancing, community dance program, open to all ages. These lessons in the fundamental elements of square dancing that Americans have enjoyed for years will provide an almost unlimited scope of variety, friendship, and fun. Classes include squares, circle mixers, contras, and solo dancing instructor, and this is a gimmick. They put this in, I think, to pacify me. Ask for $200, they'll give me $60. So they mark professional Bob Howell. Now, one little quip in there is worth $140, you see, but that's all right. It's an ongoing thing. This is my 27th or 28th year, I guess, of doing it. 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Monday evening, and the fee is there. It's $20. This one for the winter session was $20. I think it comes to about $1.87 an evening for anybody that would like to come out. It's totally sexless. By that I mean nothing. Doesn't sound very interesting, does it? I don't mean disinteresting, just sexless. Because when they come in, I dance them in pairs. I use the word couple not at all during the session because there are no couples. Because I have predominantly women, particularly the seniors. But it includes, as I put down here, singles, kids, seniors, minorities, all sorts of things that sometimes you don't find within a square dance club. Because square dancing, folks, let's really be honest with ourselves. Square dancing is a couple activity, without a doubt. But I use pairs all the time, and I use things like A and B. A will be the person on the right, and B, because I can remember that B stands for boy, and that's the person on the left. And we do all sorts of formations, as Jack just mentioned a little bit ago, too. After 27 years, we still do a ladies' chain, a right and left through, and we even get to a grand square sometime. And then another session begins, and that's where it is. But variety is the answer, taking those things to good music and applying them so that we don't get into any... I teach as little as I possibly can. To me, the best teacher teaches least. You get them on the floor, you get them moving, get them into the program. I said before it was eclectic, 3 sessions a year, and that's it. the bulletin I mentioned to you. The table of contents in the CDP program, if you have glanced, or maybe you haven't, includes there squares, various patterns, square dance drills, singing calls, quadrilles, contras, mixers, couple dances, solo dances, three-person trios. And with 3 people, I use them rather heavily, because in 3 you don't have to worry about whether they're men or ladies. You just have 3 people dancing together, and I don't allude to the sexual side of the program at all. We just dance. I offered for many years a course at Akron University to teach teachers and recreational people how to teach people to dance. It was a handy one. Kind of ran out of gas after 6 or 7 years. If there is a program that is offered in your community, or as Cal said he was promoting a little bit ago, and that's a fine one out in Canyon City in the summer, to help you so that you can help yourselves get people involved. Where do you begin? Where do these things take place? Well, churches. You get a church group that might be interested in doing some community dance program. The YMCA, schools, the adult education program, community-wise, Grange. There's pious fraud in what I do too, because I'll get you out for a PTA dance or a father's daughter activity or a brownie father date program, etc., and inevitably we'll just simply mention that if you'd like to do this. I think the Swinging Angels have been dancing for 40-plus years now, and they dance 9 to 11 sets on the floor the first Friday of each month from October through May, and it is totally a community dance program. We have a potluck. You can walk in. You can bring guests for dinner. You walk in, you dance. Do I start at ground zero every month? Pretty much so. But is there variety? We've got people that are coming back. I'd say 2 of the sets, probably out of the 9 or 11 sets, have been dancing for, some of them are charter members, have been dancing the first Friday of the month for 40 years. And again, it's just the variety of activity, the type of dance. There's, what did I say, solo? All the various different forms that are in this community dance book right here. We have a potluck dinner at 7 o'clock. We begin to dance at 8 and quit between 10 and 10:15, depending on how the weather and how tired they are, etc. But these are some of the ways of getting people. Yes, there is a succession. There is. I won't deny that. I'm not employed by a club. I don't have to have a certain number of people. I don't have to obligate. In fact, the last dance in the spring, I have the club officers from several of the square dance clubs around come in and make their pitch on the last dance of the year in June, and invite these people to come to their lessons the following year if they'd like to get serious about it. But there's absolutely no pressure put on. I talk about it very lightly, because I just assume they'd come in and enjoy the fun and the dance that is, offered at that time. Right now, I'd like to do this, if I may. I was going to move all the chairs out and get everybody involved, but how about 8 people right over here for me in a long line, and 8 people right over here. I'd like to do just two quick ones that I think can be taught with probably one walkthrough in less than 30 seconds, and we can dance it. How about 8 people? I don't care whether it's 8 men, 8 women, whether I get 4 boys and 4 girls, 4 gents and 4 ladies. Somebody said at noon today, I don't want to be called a girl. Well, I have found out a long time ago that until at age 35 is generally the cutoff point. Anybody under 20 or under 35, I call a lady. Young lady, would you do this? Young ladies do that, etc. But over 35, I then begin to call you girls, and I get away with more that way. Now, would you find a partner for me real quickly? Just find a partner and face each other. One of you with your back toward me, and one of you with back toward the audience out there. That's it. And I'll try to explain what I'm going to do here on the for the benefit of the tape. I have one pair right down next to the wall right there. You're my top pair. Probably the brightest and best looking of the bunch. Is that right? Good. Number 2 pair, number 3 pair, and I want, Al, will you take a form on right there for me? Another pair. 1, 2, 3. We even got room for another. Well, how many more do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4. You 4 stop right there. Will you start another one for me, Dick? Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 2 more pair up here, and we'll put another set right behind those 2. Can I get 4 more able people? Here comes 4. Good. There's 1. All right. Cal, why don't you start another set right behind this group? Yeah. Cal is telling these guys where to go. All right, good. All right. This little dance I picked up in Scotland last August. Actually, it came from KDI, I believe, from Kentucky Dance Institute. But, hey, Shacklett's out there. But I'm going to use a record that Jack Murtha has produced, a little thing called Gordo's Quadrille. And it's got a Scottish flair to it. What I'd like for you to do, my A line has their back toward the stage right here. You are 4 in line. All right, will you join hands for me? And the top pair is off to this side. For those that are on the tape, I'm holding up my right hand. Good. You're going to lead your line. The leader's going to lead their line all the way around that line, B line. Go. All the way around behind them. That's it. That's perfect. I wish you... No, just up, steady, Rock Island. Get him back there. I want just the A line. That's good. All right. Now, the B line, the leader, same leader at the same end. Come on and walk around behind the 4 other folks. Notice I didn't refer to ladies or gents or anything else of that sort. That's it. All right. Now, I want the top pair. The top pair. And we're going to phrase this thing right off the bat because we talk a lot about styling and talk about phrasing, but it's just brought in as we are dancing. Bringing in the beauty of it. I want the top pair to simply walk down the set in 8 steps. Go down. Take your partner with you. That's it. Good. That's it. Turn alone. Come on back. See, those 2 gents are dancing. This is Scottish dance anyhow. You know, the Scotchmen, they dance together. They just wear skirts. Oh, good Lord. I better not go back to Scotland. Now I want you, that top pair, if you will, to cast off or to cast to the foot. Walk down behind the outside, on the outside of the line. When you get to the foot of the set, the other 3 move up, and those 2 people make me a right-hand star. Star by the right. Just those who came to the foot of the set, that active pair. Just put up your right hand and turn. Now, Dick probably is going to tell me you can't do this. I know Sanella told me this one time. You can't make a 2-hand star. You got to have 4 hands for a star in New England. Well, we're in Virginia right now, and if I say 2-hand star, that's exactly what we're going to do. Will it bring the head pair back up to the head of the set for me real quickly? That's it, because you know exactly what you're doing. Well, that's rather humbling, isn't it? All right, let's play a little bit, shall we? Get ready. Nice and easy now. Top A, lead them around. Go. They are going around behind the gents. Top B, go. Top pair down the center, 8 steps, exactly 8. Come back without moving your lips. Good counting. Cast off to the foot. To the foot, I say, and then make a right-hand star while the other 3 move up. That's it. Get ready, real smooth. Now the new top A person, go. It's called the Kingston Flyer. B's, go. I have been told subsequently that there is a train in Australia called the Kingston Flyer. I didn't write on when it was there. Top couple down the center, exactly 8 steps for me. Turn alone, come back, look at this perfection. Cast to the foot, go down the outside. That's it. Jack, here's another good use for your record, kid. Are you ready? Star right, top, go. They're getting the idea. Whoops, don't fall asleep on me now. They become enamored with the fact they made it, so they fall asleep. B, go all the way around the set for me. I say, you're going to get back home, and then top pair, ready, down the center. Look at that, perfect timing. Look at the styling. Dick, that was beautiful. Down the outside, go, make a right-hand star for me, and then, all right, ready, from the top, do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to those on the tape. I'm not going to say a word to these folks. If they haven't got it now, they ain't going to get it from me. Go. Go. A little hoping the Guy Gordon's in there, eh? Say yes. That's it. To the foot of the set for me. Make a right-hand star. And everybody bow real low. Oh, hey, hey. Hot dog. That's it. Great. Good. The name of the dance is called the Kingston Flyer. Where did it come from, Stu? Do you know? I know Vicky did, but I said, where'd it come from? Out of a Scottish book. Well, actually, I hope to get back to Australia again because I want to ride on that train, the Kingston Flyer. Yes, please. Would you step up here? This is Stu Shacklet from, where is that? Brandenburg, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. I'm the director of the Kentucky Dance Institute, and those of you that are looking for some different material, there's a whole vast world of different material out in the folk dance area. Now, our dance camp uses folk dancing, international folk. It uses square dancing. It uses contra. It uses round. It uses a little bit of everything. So there's all types of material like this out there available. All you have to do is just go experience it, and then you can come back and use it. But it's there just for the going and taking of it. A lot of little singles, a lot of little mixers, a lot of little of everything. So don't close your mind to another type of dancing because you're doing the same thing to that type of dancing that people does to square dancing. Oh, I don't want to try that. But go try it and experience it and see what you can get out of it. There's a world of information out there. Thank you. Yeah, I'll pay you later, yeah. The last week in July, the 26th of July through the 1st of August.
Thanks, Stu. Good. Real good. All right. Now, would you do this for me? Let me just take, how about anybody that has a lady for a partner? I've got 3 couples out there that have a lady. The others that I don't, I have the same sexes. I'm going to sit you down for just a moment. Here we go. People will get into a community dance program. You put on a waltz and boom. It's like taking an exhibition group out with you. If you're going to go out to do a dance, for goodness sakes, don't ever take an exhibition group. Never. I mean it seriously. On account of because what happens is this. You go out and they've had a nice dinner and fellows are all feeling pretty good. So you get out there and you start exhibiting and they're all spinning around and the women can hardly wait to get off the chairs and the guys are going right into the woodwork. I just say, no, I never will. I'll never take any exhibition group. I just go out and get them into a big old circle, and as I've told so many people, if I haven't got 80% of the people dancing in the first 3 minutes, don't pay me. And someday I'm going to lose a paycheck. But so far, so good. Now, I don't want you to square up. I want you to just get away from each other. These folks are squaring up out here for those who cannot see them. I simply want you to put the lady on the outside, the gentleman on the inside. And what I'd like for you to do is, gents, starting with the left and lady with the right, just join the closest, nearest, warmest hand. You got the warm hand joined? Yeah, facing. In other words, you're going to go around in a circle for me right here. You're going to face line of dance for those at LOD. Okay? You're going to waltz forward, back to back. And then face to face. All right, do it. Go. Back to back. Face to face. Change hands. Go back to back. Face to face in the same direction. Oh, good. For those who cannot see, it looks like Gettysburg. Yes, you're going to go. You're going to keep going in line of dance. Sorry, Max. See, that's poor teaching. All right, go. Back to back. Go. Back to back. Face to face, change hands, keep going, back to back again, face to face. Now, butterfly with your partner. Both hands to the side, balance to the gents left, ladies right, balance left, and right, good. And now turn away, do a solo turn away. Ladies moving forward as you do it, gents rolling back to the lady behind you, and you never got rid of a woman so simply and easily in your whole life, did you? Doesn't even know what's happened to him. Do it again, one more time, we'll dance it. Go, back to back, face to face, change hands, back to back. Face to face, balance to the left, to the right, and turn away. Gents rolling back, ladies going forward. Isn't that pretty? Here we go. It's called the Mary D. Waltz. Waltz. Are you pretty? Let's do it. Here she comes. Are you ready? Here we go. Waltz, back to back. Face to face, change hands, back to back. Face to face, balance to the left. To the right, roll back, go, back to back, face to face, back to back, face to face, balance to the left, to the right, roll back. Oh, beautiful. Go way out. That's it. Change hands. Look at them waltzing. I know whether they waltz or not. Balance left and right and roll one more time. Back to back. Face to face. Change hands. Back to back. Face to face. Balance left. Balance right and roll one time. Oh, how about a nice hand for those dancers? Are there any of you feeling uncomfortable? I hope not, because you look good. Thank you, everybody. Calvin?
All right. Want to add one short thing, and then I'm going to open it up for comments. What I'd like to have you do, if you have questions or whatnot. You forgot one thing?
Just real quickly. Hugh Macy, Gren Records, is still putting out. Now, the music is 25 years old, but he's putting out community dance program every month, if you'll check his ad. He's got it in there. That last one was a Gren, and he's got about, I don't know how many on a continuum of difficulty. He's producing records that can be used for community dance program. And ladies and gentlemen, the other man that's doing it is sitting on the platform here. Jack Murtha is publishing materials. The last two that he just put out, and Jack, where are they? What were they? I've got them in the envelope here. Hold on. They are two of them that were previously done. Marshall Flippo doing... What's the name of it, Jack? Ooh wee baby. But he's changed the pattern so that you can use it for one night stand. And the other one was Frank Lane doing Don't Let the Good Times, Don't Let the Good Life Pass You By, and community dance program level.
Okay, your third source is the Lloyd Shaw Foundation. We got tons of it. All right. What I'd like to do is you have questions so we can be sure they get on the tape correctly. Come on up and we'll give you the mic and then we'll answer the question. Okay, well, the first questions are coming on up. One thing I think you need to remember, we all put in other social... No questions? Come on, guys, ladies. We all put in social aspects into our club. I think if community dance program is going to succeed, there's going to have to be a strong social aspect. We're going to have to build in other things. We're going to have to build in potlucks, special parties, Valentine's parties, Halloween parties, camping trips, all the paraphernalia that make these people be friends. Because when you come right down to it and you look at your long-term dancers, they don't come for you. They don't come for the square dance. They come to be with their friends. That's the baseline reason. Now, that's hard for some of us to absorb, but that's really true. If you look at the clubs that have long-term success, they are built of groups of friends who also square dance. Isn't that right? Okay. A community dance program is going to have to be even more strongly built around a community friendship and social activities that the square dance or the community dance may be the bricks, but the mortar it holds together is going to be the sociability. I really believe this. Okay, first question? Yeah, Deco, you had a bunch of questions. Come on up here. Gary's had his hand up first? Yeah. All right.
I'm Mike Wood, San Diego. Do you use music from the different foreign countries, such as Russia, Ireland, things like that?
I'm going to answer, and I'm going to let my colleagues answer. Pappy Shaw, when he started the real revival in California a number of years ago, it started out him going to some dances, and they did folk dances. And a few people would do a Russian dance, a few people do a Ukrainian dance, a few people do a Scottish dance. He'd put on a square dance and everybody would stand up, get on the floor. And one of the things that Pappy pointed out was that folk dancing is doing fine. Now, I put in some folk dances into to the program, but basically I'm building my dances about American folk dance rhythms, Scottish, whatnot like that, formation style dancing. Does that make any sense? Anybody else want to offer a comment? All right. Misery Lou, never on Sunday, selected things, but not a great variety of things in the folk dance category.
I am Harry Jelt from Cincinnati, Ohio. And in your booklet, this is a comment. Can I make a comment? Okay. In the booklet, on the last page of the pages are not numbered, by the way. The last page of mixers, you have a dance called Jiffy Mixer. And if you change, if everybody starts on the right foot facing the front of the hall, you can use that as a solo dance, and it's called Jiffy Solo Dance. And the other change on measures 25 and 32, go forward to 3/4 right face. And you've got a solo dance. Thank you.
Okay, next. Tidbits. Love them. Next, who else? Yeah. Okay, just come on up and start lining up so we can handle these and get as many questions in as we can, okay?
This is John Toth from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We made up a little something to pass out to people. Our Callers Council got into the malls. They let us come in and put on the exhibition of square dancing with people and getting people involved. So I'm trying to make up a little flyer to go along with this thing. And it's a pair of eyeglasses on the front. It says, looking for a good time. So one of my boys is calling up there. I'm passing these things out. I came up to a very good-looking girl. I gave her one and I kept walking on. She looked at the thing. She says, where or when? Be careful how you put these things out. We had to dump all this stuff because of a situation like that.
Slim Sterling, Valhalla, New York, and I had the unique experience of calling for a club that had a round dance couple teacher, a folk dance couple teacher, and myself at that time as the caller. The folk dancers were Joe and Jody Bromberg, and came up with Miserlou, which is what prompted this idea. Doing Miserlou to a waltz record. The record was On the Carousel by Guy Lombardo on Decca. Doing it to Never on Sunday as an alternative. And, of course, for a while, the Miserlou record on Columbia by Ken Griffin was out of print. So they were using, John, maybe you can help me, remember? It was something on Kismet. Odalisque. All right, Odalisque. But then the crowning achievement, or the depths of depravity, depending on how authentic a folk dance teacher you were, was doing Miserlou to Elvis Presley's Never on Sunday. It was a real grabber.
Disco Duck from Arlington, Virginia. Went out to Jerry's area to do a seminar, and that's what they called me after it was over. They said, we didn't know you from anybody, so we called you Disco Duck. It's better than Deco Deck. It gets more attention. I'd like to project something to the panel here and to our people who are in charge of this community dance program. I've only been in it about 10 years as I got old enough to be mature. And I have found that I've got two problems. One of them is, of course, how to get our callers to be interested in the community dance program. You all are. But there's been nothing done since we began this community dance program to gel our committee within the CALLERLAB system, whereas like in mainstream and the other committees, these boys are circulating stuff to them all the time. You know how that works. We have not done that. I know it costs money. But it's important to me to have that gelled feeling of others in the areas and around the nation that are into this thing, as you people are getting into it, or maybe far more than I. That's my point. Materials, Stu and I were talking about it. A way to get the materials out. Yes, lots of books, lots of stuff out there, but most people aren't going to buy it. But if we get producing out of CDP material like the quarterly of the month, I don't care what it is, something like you've just done here, and that goes out around to 4,000 or 5,000 callers, somebody's going to get more interested. And I'd like to project that as a possibility, not as a motion, nothing like that. Only to say that's it. And my point number 2, I need chair dances. I need material for chair dances. I have about only a half a dozen good chair dances I can do at my daycare centers and the ambulatory, or even the very limited mentally people that I work with. And if anybody is working in chair dances, I'd like to swap material with you. Chair dancing, to me, we haven't included it in our program, but as you get out into these programs, you're going to find, as they're saying, there's all kinds of stuff. There's a market out there that's absolutely beyond us. I've run out of time. I'm looking for callers to try to train to work with me. Chair dancing seems to be the easiest way to get the rather senior people to get up on the floors or to get up and do anything. And some of them can't. About half of them sometimes, the daycare center can't, but they want to get involved. So I've developed things like dance around, you sit in your chair, and we do, it's an exercise musical thing, like grandfather clock that's been put out. Well, grandfather clock, you can pantomime. You make your feet be a pendulum, and you can play all kind of imaginary games with music that has themes. Irish washerwoman, you know, and hanging out. We do these, but I've run out of material. So if anybody's in chair dancing, or if you people have any information, I would love to have that for myself.
Okay, next.
My name is Lois Spickler. I'm from Staten Island, and Bob Howell is my hero. He doesn't know it. When I... Now I'll tell you why. About 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, I got into doing one-night stands, and I also teach line dancing and folk dancing. Bob Howell came to our CCNJ, which is Callers Council of New Jersey, and did a workshop. We have it on videotape. It gave me so much material in 3 hours that I am using and using and using, and it's just absolutely great. This man is wonderful. Pick his brains anytime you can. One of the things that he gave me that you were just asking about was a hand jive that I have used over and over again in nursing homes, and the people love it. I call it the sitting down line dance, and they just absolutely love it. Talk to him about that. It's wonderful. And one other thing, thank you for the electric slide in American Square Dance. I had like 27 requests for electric slide, but no one could tell me the name of the record or how to do it, and you put it in American Square Dance, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hi, my name is Joe LeBlanc. I just recently took early retirement. I don't feel like I retired, though. I've been calling off and on for about 8 or 9 years over in Saudi Arabia. We were either feast or famine over there. And I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself. And, boy, I think I found a great thing here. I'm going to talk to this fellow. He's writing his name and address. But I had to teach. They found out at church I was a college, so we were going to have a Valentine country dinner dance, Valentine's Day. And we had about 80 people there. We had 5 squares up the first time. This is just one-night stand. Then I knew they liked it because after my wife got up and taught line dancing, we had 4 more squares, get up and dance after that. But I really like the idea of this country dinner dance. This is my first convention. So I got a blue one, and they screwed up my address. It says Westerly, Rhode Island. I'm not from there. I'm from Amherst, New Jersey. Amherst, Virginia. I've lived in so many places, so there is an Amherst, Massachusetts too. Thank you.
We've got lots of testimonials. Any questions? Come to the altar.
Mike Wood, San Diego. Question is, now, UCal mentioned that also a popular dance now is country western dancing, and I would like to know where are we going to get the 45 records since they don't make them anymore? I mean, where are we going to be able to find the records for these dances in country western?
Have they quit making 45s on country western? Are they gone, or are they still producing them? My understanding is they're still producing them. I had the comment the other day that we'll run out of needles long before we run out of 45 record makers. Yeah. You put it on the mic so we can have it on the tape.
I'm Foley Wood, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. We teach country western also, and we make up a list of the 45s that we need, and we call Ernest Up Record Shop in Nashville, Tennessee, and she will ship those out to you in 2 or 3 days. Okay? Okay. As Ernest Tubb. Yes.
All righty. Nashville. Okay. Other questions or comments? You know, testimonials are fine, but let's try and make sure we get through the questions as well. If you guys have any questions, yank the mic.
My name is Eddie Phelps from Fort Worth, Texas, and I always enjoyed dancing the contras, enjoyed the music, wanted to get a community dance program going. Let me give you a bit of my experience. Don't try and take a mainstream square dance club and make it into a community dance program club. The existing square dance population will not move into that, and I think that point needs to be made.
Yes, I would reinforce that statement. Don't. It's like you ask people, "You like to contra?" No. Have you ever done one? No. And if I can get a plug in here too, real quickly, a young lady in Illinois is writing a book. It's probably 23 years of Bob Howell's American Square Dance. She's writing this on line dances, as she said, but I'm going to encourage you folks to call them solo dances. To me, a line dance is a contra, but if we can get you to say solo and can convert a few more of you to use solo rather than line, I think it's a little more meaningful. But the book will be published and will be out sometime this year. It's coming out through Indiana University or Illinois, one of the colleges up north there somewhere, and we'll have about 120 or 125 solo dances in the book. No, just to conclude again, too, don't. I would discourage you from even bringing your square dancers into trying to get them into a community dance program, because normally, many times they'll help you teach the class, and you sure don't need that.
Well, I have to modify just a little bit to keep reminding people that what's true for clubs is not true for individuals. In my club, I'd have trouble if I tried to change my plus club into a mainstream club or a mainstream to a community dance program. But I have dancers in my clubs who like those things and do come to them. Individual people in my plus club come to my limited basic program every Friday night, and they enjoy it and have a good time with it. So don't blanket everybody in square dancing with the same cloth. You can't change these clubs, but individual people, that's another story.
How many of you have dancers that come through your lessons who you know are never going to cut it? Yeah, if there isn't every hand up there for everybody that teaches, I'd be very surprised. This is a destination that you can put them in. They may learn or stay with this program for 2 or 3 years and come back and try it and be able to do it the next time. But it's a place to put these. So, you know, the word is you can't convert clubs. Individuals are a different sort of an issue. But you certainly can have a destination for these people. How many of you have people who are leaving your square dance clubs for one reason or another, physical, etc.? Don't you all? Okay, these people still want to dance. Bob? By the way, this is my square dance caller. Judy and I want to recommend something to you. Judy and I, about 5 years ago, 6 years, 7 years ago, moved to Denver. The deal was we either quit everything or we find one club that we only danced at. And so we made this deal, and Judy and I followed through it. And I want to let you know, it's great for a marriage.
We are very pleased to have them. A couple of comments. I'm Bob Riggs from the Denver area. A couple of a question. I think that one of the things as I sit out here and listen to this is there's some confusion of terminology. We talk about community dance program, we talk about square dancing, we talk about solo dances, and I'm not sure that in the general population of even callers that there's any common understanding of what all of those terms are. And that might, sort of a question is there a way that we can get that to be a little bit better understood? Square dancing to me is an umbrella that covers all squares, circles, contras, and so on.
That's a question. The second point is, I'm a person, both my wife and I started out in the modern square dance world, but I am a person who very definitely enjoys contras and dance them as often as I can, because I find that they're true dancing rather than some of the dancing that I find in the mainstream and plus worlds. So I would encourage you, if you have some people who really want to dance, see if they might be interested in contras. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. I'm going to embellish on that a little bit. I'd like to suggest, too, and maybe in your report on Wednesday morning, Calvin, you might want to put this in as a point. I don't know whether it'll be accepted or not, but I think what Bob just brought out was the fact that this is a great little book, but it's like reading so many other things unless you can see it or you can see it done. In fact, those two dances I just did here, if they were written up, I have a feeling that maybe 1 or 2% of you might try it. I'd like to see some people, some of the CALLERLAB members that are established in community dance program, possibly CALLERLAB setting up some regional meetings or statewide or 2 or 3 statewide, so that people that are in the calling trade and business could actually see this and maybe spend a day doing some of these things, so that the words would not be strange to them, so that they would see these things done and realize that there's a certain skill that is required for this, and a day's workshop would probably whet enough appetites, or more appetites than any of the published material that they have, that they could send out or have sent out. I don't know whether it'd even be practical, or whether, I don't know how they'd react to it, but it might be well to recommend.
Anything you want to add? Okay. Let me ask a couple questions. Since we're getting down towards the end of our time, is this viable? Is this something, one of the concerns I had in coming to this is in talking to the local Denver callers. Otherwise, and for a few individuals, everybody says, I'm already doing my thing, and as long as it's successful, I'm going to continue to do that thing. And you are the people who are out there calling, quote, 52 nights a year of recreational square dancing. Is this viable? That you're the ones that need to answer. Now, I've got a sheet going around the room. If you're interested in doing something about this, put your name on the sheet. If you want to come up, some of you had already signed it and mark it off, that's okay too. Put your name on the sheet, because I'll take on I'm a communicator. And I will say this, one of the problems with CALLERLAB is we don't talk to each other. We don't write letters, we don't answer letters, but I'm a communicator. If you're interested, I will communicate with you. Is that fair? Will you write back? Okay, one more question.
Lou Watson, Belleville, Michigan. I noticed in most of our dances in this book, and all our contra dances, all the music is very old. And I was just wondering if we couldn't get some modern day music into this type of program.
You want to talk? You produce records.
Well, I can think of some of the people like Dick Ledger and people like that use some of the very, very nice newer singing calls with some of the dances they put together, and they work beautifully. But the key thing about this kind of dancing is that it differs from modern square dancing in that you don't time your dance to the dancers. You time the dance to the music. And so the music needs to be very well phrased. It needs to have a steady, good rhythm. And a lot of the kind of music you hear is what's very pleasing to people who like to do those kinds of dances. I don't know if you could put Pink Cadillac to that kind of a motive or not, but I do know that there are a lot of people who use some very nice singing calls that are more up to date and have very good results with them, with contras and quadrilles and things like that. So I don't know about producing them or how, where you would find people doing that specifically, but you can look for other music and find it, but you do want music that you can dance to, and you're going to time things to what that music tells you, and rather than timing it to how fast people can get through something.
Pink Cadillac makes a neat solo dance. Yeah, it makes a neat solo dance, and be innovative. The answer is yes. There's lots of music out there. Don't hesitate to adapt. Don't try to make it all sound the same. Whereas when you do part of the enhancement that we're going to have with this program, and part of the fascination for the people coming through will be the different kinds of music they get to dance to. And so just because you have a neat piece of music, you don't want to adapt it to 6 different styles of dancing or to 6 different formations. Kind of pick and choose what you're going to use so that the people get the chance to dance to different kinds of music. And the comment about the music in this book being old is very valid. And some of these records are going to disappear. The routines don't have to disappear. We can pick them up, and when you find a singing call, I take all kinds of singing calls for one-night stands. I pick out the music and fit it to the group. And I'll guarantee you when I'm calling to the mother or father-daughter banquets for the Scouts, their kids are going to hear some music they're going to like, and Dad's going to hear some music he can like. And it may be the same dance. They just don't know.
I too would like to, we've talked about record producers, but I see Stan Burdick sitting back there, and I certainly appreciate what he's done because he's permitted me to do a lot of writing for the last quarter of a century, and has published in that Easy Level page, and anybody that's got a library or a, what do they call that, microfiche or something like that, that Stan has, we've at least made an offering, and there many of the things that are in that column can be certainly used in a community dance program. Thank you, Stanley.
What's the name of the magazine? Do you have something? Like this? Are we? Or is there going to be another index is what you're asking about? Is there going to be an index covering, say, 10 years? We got to find out what the new editor wants to do on that. Yeah. I mean, basically, that's the answer. We got to find out what the new editor wants to do in terms of these concepts. Stan? Every September, you will have everything listed as a complete index. Each September, that is published. September or December. Okay, we're at the end of our time, so we need to cut it off. Al, did you have something? Well, thank you very much.